What's going on, everybody? It's your boy BJ, the DJ. You are now tuned into the rewrap. This is episode 12. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. The rewrap's available on all major streaming platforms. And if you haven't tapped in with them guys at Over the Top with Chad and Tony, make sure you do so. You can find me on there as a recurring guest talking about movies and nostalgic wrestling. Episode 12. Let's get to it because Apple Music has got some serious explaining to do. They have released a top 100 greatest albums of all time, and to say that hip-hop was not represented well on that list is an understatement, right? In fact, one of my biggest gripes is the fact that in the top 20, there are actually only four hip-hop albums included in the top 20, and two of these albums are ranked extremely low, and two of them do not deserve to be that high. So, this list is, in the words of my son, he would say this list is absolute cheeks, man. This thing was not well thought out, and whoever put this list together should probably turn in their resignation along with it, because they do not understand what they have done with this list, right? And it's not so much that I don't feel like hip-hop was represented from an artist standpoint. It's just I feel like some of the albums they selected weren't even the best albums for this artist. And I don't know what the thought process was in this. Some of the albums they selected weren't even the highest selling albums, so it definitely wasn't from a selling standpoint. I just don't understand how all of this came together. Again, very disappointed that there were only four hip hop albums in the top 20, two in the top 10, and I don't feel like the two in the top 10 deserve to be there at all. And even the one that they selected as number one overall, you can't tell me that it's the greatest hip-hop album of all time, let alone the greatest album of all time. So just complete monstrosity of this list. So let's get into it real quick, though. We're going to run through the hip-hop represented albums that were on this Apple Music top 100. So at number 98, they put Astroworld by Travis Scott. Now, I'm not one of those I'm not going to toot Travis Scott's horn at all. Like he's not as big an artist to me as they put him on the pedestal to be. Not to say he hasn't made great songs, not to say I haven't enjoyed his music. I just don't feel like top 100 greatest albums of all time, you've got that. Lil Wayne's not even represented on this top 100 list at all. None of the Carters. So you can't sit there and tell me that this list is accurate if you don't have a Wayne Carter album on there at all. So, again, I'm not going to be one to put Travis Scott on the pedestal, but, I know people love his music, and this generation, this day and age, he is one of the biggest artists, but it's just not, he doesn't do it for me, especially in a top 100 greatest albums of all time. Number 95, they've got Usher Confessions album. I know it's an R&B album, but that album was huge, right? It spawned one of the biggest rap R&B collaboration songs of all time. And to me, that was Usher's greatest album, right? So I'm not mad about it being on the top 100 list of all time, but I kind of feel like that's a little low at 95. 92, they got Tyler, the Creator's Flower Boy. This isn't even Tyler, the Creator's best album to me. It debuted at number 2 and did 106,000 the first week. Igor was actually a better album. It sold more, and it won a Grammy for Rap Album of the Year. Already misrepresentation from, one of the biggest artists of this generation, Tyler, the Creator. Very innovative artist, man. Big fan of his work. And to me, Flower Boy is not his best album, let alone one of the top 100 greatest albums of all time. So I do feel like Igor should take the spot of Flower Boy any day of the week. Just my opinion. This is the biggest, one of the biggest monstrosities on this entire list is Doggy Style comes in at 84. You're telling me the greatest debut album of all time comes in at 84 on this list of top 100. So when you hear the names of some of these albums that they've got higher than Doggy Style, you'll see how irrelevant this list actually is, right? I'm definitely not upset about Doggy Style being on the list, but coming in at 84, that's way low, right? 82, they got 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. I mean, I can't even talk about, this is unbelievable. You got Doggy Style at 84, you got Get Rich or Die Trying at 82. So every album after this has to be bigger than Doggy Style or Get Rich or Die Trying. Get Rich or Die Trying sold 800 something thousand units the first week, right? You talk about an album that had an impact in hip hop. It changed the game for years after. So you've got that at 82 on a top 100 list. I don't even know what's around it at this point. But you're ranking I'm just ranking the hip hop albums and talking about where they've got them, and you've got that at 82. So everything else after this has to be a genuine classic, right? Number 80, they got the Marshall Mathers LP. Follow up from the Slim Shady LP. The second album is always important, but everybody who's an Eminem fan knows that the Marshall Mathers LP is not his best body of work, let alone one of the top 100. You have to put Eminem Show in that, because Eminem Show did 1 point something first week, right? And it was a huge album for Eminem. It really was when Eminem was at his peak. But Marshall Mathers LP, not a bad album. I just don't feel like it's Eminem's best body. So why is it on a top 100 list if it's not even his best body of work, right? Coming in at number 70, we got NWA, Straight Outta Compton. Again, not upset about it being on the list. I just don't know if 70. I don't know if 70 is too low or too high. I'll let you be the judge when we start talking about some of the others. 62, you got All Eyes on Me by Tupac. I feel like that one should at least crack the top 50. That was another big album. It really helped put Death Row over the top. After Pac got out of jail, he had great music before that, but once he got out of jail and dropped All Eyes on Me, it was over. The rap game was at a standstill until Death Row decided it was done. And All Eyes on Me was what catapulted that. So not really sure it needs to be this low on the list. I do feel like it deserves to be in the top 50 because some of these albums I'm about to mention, not bad albums. Again, not bad albums at all. But they really didn't do their homework when it comes to rating these in numeric order, right? Coming in 48, Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. And, that's not even the Beastie Boys' highest selling album. License to Ill is clearly a better album than that, and it clearly should be on this list. It had bigger singles. It was, debut album, should have been in this top 100 list before Paul's Boutique. So they definitely missed the ball on that one. That comes in at 48. So you're telling me that Beastie Boys album is better than All Eyes on Me, Straight Outta Compton, Marshall Mathers LP, Get Rich or Die Trying, and Doggy Style. You have lost your mind. Again, love Beastie Boys. I think they, very innovative, especially for white rappers. They were the ones that really, really put white rappers on the map. But yeah, that's not it, man. There's no way that album is better than any of the ones I mentioned before that. Okay. We got Drake's first appearance here at 47 with Take Care. I'm not mad at this choice. I think Take Care is a really, really good album. Personally feel like Views is a bigger album. I feel like Views did better numbers. I feel like it was one of those albums that really solidifies a superstar status. It had bigger singles, like you had One Dance and Controller that were international smashes on that album, right? Not that they're my favorite songs on the album, but if you're looking at it from an overall sales standpoint and an impact standpoint, I feel like Views is a bigger album than Take Care. But I love Take Care. I'm a huge Drake fan. I think he's a generational talent, and I'm not upset with this being on here. I'm not even upset with it being this high. I just feel like, Views was a better album, so I would have put it on there instead of Take Care, right? Another one I'm a little disappointed in, 41, Aquemini by Outkast. That album's 3 times platinum, right? And if you're an Outkast fan, like I am, coming from the South, for us, Stankonia is that album, right? It is the one, So Fresh and So Clean, Bombs Over Baghdad. It was one that really changed Atlanta rap, not just Atlanta rap, but Southern rap. It changed it. Miss Jackson was on that album. I don't feel like, Aquemini is that album. Not that it's bad. Outkast never put out a bad album in my opinion, but I feel like Stankonia is the one, and why it's not on this list is baffling to me. But at the same time, I am happy to see Outkast getting some flowers on this list. But I felt like Apple got the wrong album on here. Just my opinion. I mean, it won a Grammy in 2002 for rap album, rap performance of the year, and actually should have won album of the year, but it lost to Oh Brother Where Art Thou. But yeah, this, Stankonia, way better album than Aquemini in every stretch of the imagination. Coming in at 39, they've got Illmatic by Nas. This is an unpopular take. This is not one of my favorite albums of all time. I love Nas. Nas is top 3 to me, and I feel like Stillmatic is his best body of work. And if I'm rating his albums, I've got Stillmatic, I've got I Am, and I've got probably Illmatic in at third, right? But I even like his newer stuff that he's doing with Hit Boy. I loved his Hip Hop Is Dead album. That's an unpopular take also. Love that album, but, top 100 albums of all time. I'm not mad about Illmatic being on this list. This is another one I kind of feel like is a little low at 39. I feel like it should have fallen within that top 20 category. But, I'm happy that it's on here, and I'm happy that it's, happy that it's getting its recognition, because it is a great album. 37, Wu-Tang, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. Love this album. Glad it's on the list. I'm not actually upset about the placement of this at 37. Wu-Tang is they're innovators, right? They really put, New York hip hop on the map. Everybody in the Wu-Tang brought something different to the table, and they were all unique in their own ways, right? So yeah, I'm not upset. 37 got Wu-Tang, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. Again, love the album. Not disappointed in the placement, right? This is where things get a little iffy for me. We got 34, Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. I was never really a big Public Enemy fan. Not to say that they don't deserve to be on this list, and I actually like the placement for them as well too. But I wasn't really big into Public Enemy because their music didn't resonate to my lifestyle, of course, right? They were very politically charged. They were very pro-black. They were, not necessarily anti-white, but just very pro-black. And their music meant something to other people, and that was great. I just was never a big Public Enemy fan. Just couldn't get into it. It didn't hit me like it should have, I guess, or maybe it didn't hit me like it needed to, but they very innovative. They are, legends. They did so much for the politically charged rap. They were, the first ones I ever remember doing it. Then you had like Ice Cube come out. There's been several others since then, but Public Enemy really, in the early stages of hip hop, they brought something different to the table. So yeah, not upset. 34, It Takes a Nation of Million to Hold Us Back. Not upset about that. Coming in at 32, we got Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. Again, not upset about this album being on here. I do feel like this is the one. If you're going to have Notorious B.I.G. represented on this list, I do feel like Ready to Die is that album. 32, I feel like some of the ones rated under him were probably better albums and should have been rated higher, but that's neither here nor there. So 29, we got Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. Again, another one. Definitely feel like it needs to be on the list. But I feel like, coming in at 29, there were better albums underneath it. So 26, this is another one that's really got me baffled here. They chose Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This isn't even Kanye West's best bite. This is probably my least favorite Kanye album. There are so many better projects from Kanye West. College Dropout, Late Registration, both of those albums were better. This is what I don't like. People put Kanye West on a pedestal and he underperforms a lot of times, but they love him. They worship him. And I just don't feel like his music lives up to the hype 90% of the time. As a matter of fact, anything past his first 3 albums to me has been absolute trash. That's just my opinion. Again, unpopular, but that's just my opinion. So I don't know why this is coming in at 26. I mean, this isn't even, this isn't even a top 50 hip hop album, let alone top 100 of all time, in my opinion. 19, this was one of the biggest, another one of the biggest mistakes they made. They put The Chronic by Dr. Dre at 19. that's got to be higher on that list. I don't care who is ahead of it, who is behind it. The Chronic needs to be higher on that top 100 list. What it did for West Coast rap and what it did for rap in general, it introduced us to a whole slew of new artists with Snoop, with the Dog Pound, Lady of Rage, and all these ones that really helped build a label that was feared by the industry, right? And it all started with the Chronic. So definitely they missed the ball on this one coming in at number 20. That definitely deserved to be in the top 10, because what I'm about to tell you with the next three, you'll understand why I say that. Number 13, they've got Jay-Z's The Blueprint. I've mentioned it before. Jay-Z's best album is Reasonable Doubt. And if I'm rating my Jay-Z albums, it would be Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, and the Black Album. They dropped the ball big time on that. There is no reason. And I love The Blueprint. Don't get me wrong, because The Blueprint changed hip hop. Everyone went to the sped up samples. It really changed the way people selected beats and production, right? It brought on a whole slew of new trends with people picking the same type of beats and everything. And The Blueprint was one of those that told a story from start to finish. And I love albums like that. But this isn't Jay-Z's best body of work. And it definitely isn't one of the top 100 albums of all time. You leaving Reasonable Doubt off this list is blasphemy. You know what I mean? But it comes in at number 13. Like I said, they dropped it on this one because Reasonable Doubt should easily be on that list. Coming in at number 7, they've got Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Look, I get it, guys. Everyone is excited about this Kendrick versus Drake rap beef thing, but everyone's bigging up Not Like Us and all these other Kendrick Lamar songs. Like, this isn't a top 10 hip hop album of all time. You're telling me Good Kid, Mad City is better than, like I just mentioned, The Blueprint, The Chronic, Illmatic, Ready to Die. It's not even close, guys. It's not even close. Yeah, I don't understand how it ended up that high on the list. This thing needs to be, now definitely deserves to be in the top 20, but coming in at number 7, you're telling me the 100 greatest albums of all time, you put Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City album at number 7. And then number 1, of course, they selected Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as the greatest album of all time, out of the top 100. That is the most sampled album in the history of music. I mean, again, top 10, maybe top 15, but there is no way that top 10 list should not have been represented by somebody like Snoop, somebody like Dre, somebody like Pac, somebody like Nas. Apple, y'all dropped this one, man. This is trash. And like I said, whoever co-signed on this thing, y'all definitely need to turn in your resume, because this is absolute. This is not it. Y'all got to do better. Got to get it right. Because next time this ain't gonna fly, guys. That's what I got. This is this Apple top 100 greatest albums of all time, and they missed it, man. It just, I don't think anybody's going to take this serious. That's what I got. BJ the DJ. This has been a rewrap. I'll catch you on the B-side.
Homie,